Once you have the vehicle off the ground and in the air on the lift, go ahead and, while you're draining the oil, inspect everything else. First thing, once you get it in the air, start draining, pull that drain bolt out, get your trolley under there, pull the drain bolt out, start draining oil. While that oil is draining, it's a perfect time to go and check other stuff else, other stuff out. Because if you're just sitting around while the oil's draining, you're just wasting time, and that's not efficient. So just check your tires out. Look for the DOT number, the date. This one says 2414. That means this tire was produced in the 24th week of 2014. And always take your valve stems and go like this. And a lot of times, if you got a bad valve stem or a leaking valve stem, if you move it around like that, you'll hear it right away. Always inflate your tires to proper spec. I already said in another video that tires are one of the most important parts of a vehicle. If you look in the door jamb of any vehicle, they usually have a sticker, usually it's yellow, and it'll say the spec for the tire that the manufacturer recommends, what PSI should be in it. So go ahead and inflate those tires to spec, and this is something you should do on every vehicle you work on. A lot of cars today, the modern cars, not this car in particular, but a lot of modern vehicles have big spokes on them with a lot of space between them. Take that spoke just past the brake caliper, look down in there. If you're not taking the wheels off to do a tire rotation, then you can do this and just look down in there. Check the pad material. Look at the top of the caliper and look for that brake pad and see how much pad material is left on it. Look inside there to make sure that your shocks aren't leaking. If you come around to the back, I won't do it to the front because the car is currently in here. And to check your wheel bearings, we're just going to do it on the back, but this is something you want to do to all four. Spin that tire, get it going, and then grab the coil spring, the strut, the coil spring right up here. If you feel roughness in there, chances are you have a bad wheel bearing. Then go ahead and wobble it this way, wobble it that way. This don't have no play in it, so we're all good. This car is equipped with disc brakes in the front, drums in the rear. Hardly ever will you see drums in the rear anymore. They're usually all disc. Some cars do have it, some don't. But on the back side of that, there's a plug, and you pull that plug and you can inspect for how much pad material is left on the brake shoe. Now coming back around to the front, you want to check for play in the steering. So just grab the tire like that and just give it a good jerk, and just like this one, there's no play in there. Everything's tight. You want to go over to the other side and do it as well. Now we're going to go under the vehicle, and while we're under here, we're going to squeeze that lower radiator hose. This vehicle has an obvious oil leak. It's a personal vehicle of mine, and it's an older vehicle. I'm not too worried about it, but just check everything out. And if you see an older vehicle, anything, always write everything down. Vehicle has oil leak. Recommend clean and recheck. Just check everything out. Be thorough. Check everything out that you possibly can while remaining efficient. Don't waste time, but still be really thorough and check everything out. You will get under vehicles that are extremely rusty. Write down on your ticket, this vehicle has a lot of rust. And just things like that. Just be thorough, be informative to your customer. Even if, like, I hear all the time, well, they can't afford to have it replaced anyway. Well, you need to let them know anyway. If you see something, write it down. When you go to check a vehicle out, I don't care if it was at your shop yesterday. Check all the lights. It doesn't take long. Put your hazards on, walk around the car, make sure all the lights are working. If someone leaves your shop, gets pulled over, and they say, well, I just had my car at the shop yesterday. How did they not catch this? It really is inconvenient. And so just take a minute and just check all the lights. Make sure they're working.